Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I would like to give you a quick update about new changes. Because we have been working closely with the department and we have got new information about the change. The first change is that increase of application being launched really recently. I think this is because a lot of applications being launched before Christmas or during Christmas break, where the case officers are actually on break. Now, when they return to office, we got so many applications. Now they have to process in order. That's first change. The second change is the first change is relating to application being launched. Second change is about master or bachelor graduate. They can no longer eligible for Global Talent Independent Program if they are relying on qualifications only. So this is to be make sure we are talking about this. Graduate referring to someone who's graduate within 3 years. Okay, within 3 years, and it doesn't have to be exact. It's within about 3 years time. So if you have a master degree or bachelor degree, and you can still apply if you have many years experience. This is really referring to someone who's recent graduate, and although they have high, their marks is really good, 80 out of 100. If they are relying on qualifications only, they can't eligible anymore. They are not eligible anymore. Now, why this matters? This is because previously under law, if a master's, the law says master degree, if they are graduate, the degree itself, if they have, their scores, it's 80 out of 100, then therefore their qualification could therefore be used as equivalent to high income. So they do not need to meet the high income threshold requirement. Now, due to the change, they no longer the case. Some of master's degree, they have to be exceptional good. They have to be exceptional good. They have to demonstrate they still have ability to earn high income. This therefore be a lot difficult for candidates who just rely on master's graduates. But it doesn't applicable to all of our clients because we don't accept applications who just recent graduates, master graduate, and relying on their qualifications only. So I think this change makes sense as well. Obviously, if you listen to this video, you might be surprised, say, oh, what? So before this 20th of January 2021, a master degree who's new recent graduate, they can apply Global Talent using their qualification only. Yes, indeed, they can. And I've been also mentioning this all my programs, that video clips. That's yes. In this case, you were able to apply before that. But since that case, even your applications launched, unlodged, if you already received that, that's fine. They can still apply. They can still apply visa application. But from this date, if you lodged it, but you haven't received invitation, and your application rely on qualification only, then you will not be eligible again. Okay, so if you got invitation, good on you. Yeah, that's fine. Just they will still process it. If you haven't got the invitation and relying on your qualification, then you're not eligible now, right? So, but this is only applicable for graduate, and applicable for someone who's actually relying on qualifications only. So what about PhD graduate? Now the criteria has increased as well, and I mentioned quite a few times. Okay, this Global Talent Independent is third type of law, which is policy. Policy is very flexible, and we have what we provide offers to candidates. We really saying our offers have limit expiry dates. 1 month expiry date, but I think because of rapid change of policy, we will change to our offer to so limitation within 2 weeks from now on. So whoever we provide offer to them, it will be just fine for 2 weeks. If they don't make this decision to go ahead or whatever, like this situation of delay, then we actually going to do reevaluate because of rapid change. Now, for PhD graduate or PhD student, graduate means they already graduate, right? They already graduate within the last 3 years. That's graduate. PhD students, if they are about to finish their PhD within the next 6 months, In the past cases, they can apply. We have quite a few candidates who's already got permanent visa approved it though. And so for this case, they must show the requirement is higher now. The department increased that bar as well. For PhD graduates, they must be show that exceptional outstanding, and their research has significant international significance. Now you might consider, oh, is that because PhD graduate they can get permanent visa like before everybody getting permanent visa? In the cases where we have been only accept applications and we think they are exceptional and outstanding, this is because we understand the policy change rapidly. Secondly, we have been providing a lot of information, free information to graduate, and if they want to consider, they can apply and ask us whether we would like to take their case. But overall, our professional opinions really doesn't form the opinion from department. We provide guidance only. It's an informative guidance only, and a lot of information, and we rely on the law as well. Now, in relation to PhD, okay, PhD graduate, we have been constantly telling this case. If someone who met the requirement in April 2020, who already got a permanent visa from us already, if they approach us today, we might not accept, we might decline them. This is because the policy changed and they no longer meet the requirement. Alright, so there's a second change, which is really relating to onshore, really, I think relating to master degree PhDs. Now, obviously, PhD is really, if you have really, let's say this, okay, if you have your supervisor is really outstanding, and they're happy to support you in Australia, and this case, and they say your area of work is really great, I think that would be a good signal. But if someone from overseas, and although they're PhD, they recent graduate, if they could not obtain nominator from one of supervisors, or if their supervisor is not Australian, that would say the case itself will be a lot hard. It's a lot hard because obviously we don't know. We will consider impact factor. We consider the citation of the articles, impact factor. Quality of the work is really important. We read someone might have a bunch of publications, but in fact that's none of that's being cited by anyone now, which means there's no significance. That research has no significance. So overall, I think the requirement has increased in qualification, in masters, in PhD students. That has been always the case. This is really relating to how many applications being lodged and quality of other application. We have a policy requirement about a beyond peer, right? And in terms of beyond peer, the peer is really not saying someone who's your colleague. It is really referring to overall how many applications being lodged. Who this person in this same industry, their quality of work. Okay, so I think you might have known that recently some candidates got invitation from us, and they have invitation code as well. So if you get, because I think there's increase level of security, not just the invitation number but invitation code, just to make sure it's genuine, right? Because you have to have an identifier and the invitation code in order to lodge. Now, someone asked us a question about this, I think quite a few times. They asked, can I lodge distinguished talent visa without invitation? You can. Why? Because distinguished talent visa itself actually has two pathways. One is global talent, one is old distinguished talent. Now, the old distinguished talent still has 300 allocations, all right? Subject to overwhelming demand, which means lots of applications lodged, but they only issue 200. A processing time for this distinguished talent visa itself is really long. It's not like global talent, it's a few months. So lots of our candidates from Hong Kong, they got permanent visa approved in about 4 months time. Although I do tell them, I did tell them it's just, subject to 5 months, let's say 5 months. The majority of them, I think 90% of them got permanent visa approved within 4 months. So you can still apply, if someone asks, can I get invitation code within can I apply without? Yes, you can, but you have to be, let's say, the requirement for the distinguished talent visa without invitation, this particular one, it's very, very hard, very, very high. Okay, very, very. You have to be very great. And for us, we work with all talents, right? We all areas. We have a very, very clear understanding of whether this person is exceptional. When someone approaches us, asks us, can I get lodge this one without invitation? If I'm saying no, it is because it's just not good enough. So if you are working with few setters or whatever setters, we want you to consider the expression of interest first, to get invitation code first. Now I've got some other questions about changes. I think we all know that in practice, I heard quite a lot that some candidates may probably got invitation without nominator. This situation will never happen in our application because we do our decision verification. We want to make sure everybody met requirement before we launch, even the first stage. Now, in these cases, we have a problem, and later on, department changed in application form. Now up to this point, when we're talking here, you will need a nominator information in order to submit. You have no doubt of that. You must have it. And don't just waste your time to think about whether you can meet requirement. Now, because of a recent increase about requirement, obviously we will respond to department as well. And then what we are doing here, it's actually providing some free assessment for someone before they approach anyone. Right? Free assessment, we give them a good idea of whether it's a good application or it's marginal. So we provide assessment for that as well. Now, on top of free information I provide here, I provide free assessment for candidates. Now, that is a situation where I have to apologize, is we have quite a lot of inquiries. It is come to the point that perhaps we could have missed some of the inquiries. Probably forgot to respond, and our assessment team, they forgot to respond. Generally speaking, we want to make sure we provide feedback, even we believe that it's not good. So your case is not strong. We say, I don't think we're able to assist you. You might wish to consult with other immigration lawyer, or you might wish to approach town officer yourself. So our professional opinion does not form opinion from home affairs. So this is a recent change. A second change, the final change I want to say, I think I have introduced this one. I can't remember this one. But the global department's website, a new website called globalaustralia.gov.au. Now you have noticed that there is quite a new industries here, right? And this is industries where it's not just 7 sectors. IT become enabling sectors, including education, science, research, right? Right, so someone approached me and said if they're a teacher or IT teacher, that's not applicable. Okay, you are not eligible if you're just IT teacher. Education is really referring to, in this definition, within this definition, education is really referring to science and research. So it's really wide. Why? Because previously we have this Fintech, medtech, data science, anything like that. Now, education actually covers all areas, right? Research areas. You can be any research area. It doesn't matter what sector. Doesn't matter your research topic. As long as your research topic, your research area can bring some kind of good knowledge, break through our knowledge gap, or it's really interesting, right? Interesting. It can be anyone. Obviously, from my point of view, we have quite a few PhDs to get permanent visa. Our work covers fintech, agriculture technology, financial services. That's the majority. And cybersecurity, we got one as well. So we got quite a few in these areas. But it doesn't mean that's just limited to this. Education really refers to any research. Sometimes we have limited knowledge in this area. Obviously, the department has limited knowledge in this area because it's impossible, right? Someone has spent years on doing some research. It's going to be very hard for outsiders like Department of Home Affairs or us to really understand what you're doing. So if someone's really doing some interesting research and you believe you have some breaking through theory or breaking through result, you think you're gonna spend a few years. Although I do understand that it takes really long time to have breaking news or breaking findings. But if that's really interesting, you can approach us. As I said, we provide free assessment. We provide free assessment on whether or not to be applicable. Meeting a requirement. So that's one area. Education, science, research is actually within one sector. It's about science. It's about research. Now about culture, tourism, and leisure. So this area is really broad and really wide as well. Lots of them will be relating to IT, right? Help, for example, restaurant to sell more seats to get more clients, for example, like that. Infrastructure, not just referring to, we are kind of interesting to find out what department direction in this, because if someone is really senior architect, then what we want to check their projects, their interesting project, whether this will be applicable to us. So department wants to really introduce this to attract someone who's really good. At this point, we haven't got someone who's approached us as a very great architect, but in terms of construction. We did have someone before the policy release, within the construction field, civil engineering service. But their area is very relating to drone technology, really relating to IT, not just construction. So it's very interesting. But think about that way, why we always study this and trying to figure out what's going on. I think sometimes we use a lot of common sense. We use a lot of common sense to determine whether this person's skill set will have a wider impact, right? We want to make sure this is really interesting. Most of my judgment, basically, majority of my judgment will be really making in situations where successful cases, sometimes even some candidate from same company, we might decline them. We just find, it's not that interesting. We just feel, it's quite boring, and we probably be gonna decline them. Resources, critical minerals. This is a really new area. We have with a few candidates in the area of gold, and that's really interesting as well. We got quite a few in the area of even just gold. That's one of the area. Renewal in energy. We did two. One is to be used with the vehicles, electronic vehicles. Another one is using a special technique to make a renewable energy. So I don't want to mention this detail here because it's quite sensitive, and some of the areas actually Australian government, especially Queensland government, is actually working on that together with UQ. So if you want to find out information, read that. If you're in this area, you know what I'm talking about. Now, renewal in energy or clean energy really relating to someone who can actually commercialize this. So commercialize, or you're in middle of development, this is likely to be commercialized. That's what government wants to look. So if you are very early, even your early stage of research, or you believe that technology part is not that unique, but your product's already commercialized and you have a good market share, and you've checked that Australian market, you think, this is going to be awesome, and we want to check that for you. So if you're working in this area, please contact us for free assessment. Food and architecture technology. food. This technology really relating. We are very interested about packaging technology. Packaging technology, we can help quite a lot in candidate in this area. Space, we haven't got anyone come here. Space and defense, that's our weakness. We haven't got anyone approach us. It'll be very interesting if you're working in this area. I really want to know from you about this. Okay, Fintech, we got a lot. Fintech, we never lack any candidates from Fintech in terms of trading, in terms of payment method, so banking, financial services, Fintech, everything related to this. Before the policy, we actually got a lot of candidates who's working one of the banks whose background is not tech but financial services, and we got result for him already. Congratulations. Bioscience, biomedical, we've got a lot of candidates in this area have got approval, and their occupation is various. Okay, you don't have to be a researcher. We have someone who's trial manager, we have someone senior trial manager, we have a pricing manager, even someone who's actually in the sales part or marketing part. We got result for them. So it's very broad and really wide in terms of how determine whether or not you are a good candidate for this program. Thinking about the way and whether whether that is the department wants, and whether or not, really relating to this, whether or not someone else is applying and they are awesome, right? That just say that, and hence I think that sometimes opportunity it's different, it's rare. When some candidate approach us, and we might decline them in the first place, and they maybe come to us. That's result, probably we're gonna decline them again. Or they approach us before, and then now we think, you might have a chance here. So, but our assessments most times is valid for 2 weeks only. So if you go ahead with that one, and then we're gonna make it happen. If you don't, after we provide advice to them 6 months ago. We actually provide some advice to someone 6 months ago, and they didn't do anything until lately, and they launched themselves and got rejected, and approached us, say, I asked you and you said good candidates, now what's going on? I launched myself, got rejected. So policy changed a lot. Okay, policy changed a lot, and then when you're watching my video, you can see I'm trying to update quite a lot, but we know when we work in the office, we know that every day we receive information from department, figure up from department. We know they change all the time. Some are major, some are minor. Our advice really has, we used to be valid only for 1 month. From today, we will be only valid for 2 weeks. Whatever we provide, only accurate within the first 2 weeks. After that, if you decide to whatever pathway, we won't be able to, we have to re-evaluate, really, isn't it? All right, so final touch base about direction. I mentioned the other day. I've got some of the inquiries into that. They asked this question. They say, hey, the policy changed. The policy here changed hasn't changed, and why? What is the reference to that? You can see this is PDF. Okay, PDF. I actually generate from our online, our library. I think you can actually search this. Maybe I'm not able to figure out this. Direction number 89, order of consideration. I'm putting a keyword in there. You'll be able to search it and find the information there. Now, in terms of setter, I never need to worry about setters. It's not the case, really. One case is obviously yourself. Secondly, how you're able to present the case, right? Because sometimes you feel very difficult to tell a story, very difficult to say why your project is significant. We are very interested in project. We're not interested about someone who's positioned on this company and their duties. We're not just focusing on that. We're really focusing about the impact they did in the past, that or recently, or the project. So relevance is really important key of success in our consideration. Now, I hope this one help you to get you some information. Obviously, it won't be all, because if I am talking here, I will be talking forever. I'll be talking, spend whole day talking about that. So it's just general information for your reference. It is free. I encourage you to do research yourself, to consult with other migration agents, someone who's really specialized in this area, to have more understanding of this program. All right, thank you very much for watching. I see you next time. Bye bye.